exciting episode on Impacting World with Toyin. Onto this show, we're going to be talking about relationships and the essence of keeping circles, right? And on the show with me today, I have a friend, Similaye Ekundayo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for the invite.
Thank you for coming. How are you doing?
Very fine.
It's good to have you here.
Yeah, I'm very happy.
Apostle of the Most High. Okay, so I want to talk about friendship, relationships, and keeping a circle. What are your thoughts about keeping a circle and having a relationship circle?
Okay, first of all, I would just love to say that, keeping circles and relationship is very important because, everything thrives on relationship. Relationship, as a matter of fact, is the basis of life. Someone rightly said something that touched me. Said, the person you wish to meet in life, you are just 4 contacts away from the person. So it means that everything in life answers to relationship. That's just the truth. So it is then imperative that we know the kind of cycles and relationship we keep. So it means that if relationship is advantageous, then we must learn the skills that keeps the kind of relationship we desire.
Well, we must learn the skills that keeps. Okay, so speaking of that, how do you go about I'm sure it's not simple. We just go to the street and like, I like this person. Are there qualities we're supposed to look out for in keeping a kind of or a type of relationship?
Yeah, I think the first thing I'm going to start with is that we must learn that every relationship that is going to endure and last, every relationship that will endure and last, like I said, it must be cumulative, not linear. What I mean by that is that, most times people often think, probably if I walk up to someone and say, "Can you be my friend?" That just that makes the most important decision I've made. Okay, then after that I don't have anything to do. No. Every genuine relationship should be cumulative, just like investment, for instance. Every investment actually compounds in earnings.
Yeah.
So that means that you must invest in the relationship. So it's not just a linear action. It's going to be a cumulative investment. So it keeps compounding. And the truth still remains that it is what you put into the relationship that determines what you get out of the relationship. So having established this, that we build a relationship for it to last, then the first thing we should do is to establish a relationship. I would suggest that the first key in establishing a relationship is to connect at the heart. Many times people meet people, but they don't connect at the heart of the people they meet. And how do we connect at the heart of the people we meet? The first key to connect at the heart is trust. People barely follow someone dearly if they don't trust such people. That is why one of the major key, even in leadership, is trust. Your followers must be able to trust you. They must be able to see the trustworthiness of your character. So the first thing that is so cogent is to establish a relationship out by connecting at the heart. And if you must connect at the heart, like I said, you must also look at a major requirement, which is you must value people. One of the major things that human needs in life is that they need to be loved, they need to be valued. So when you make people feel that they are not valuable, you actually lose the chance of getting to their heart. So you must let people know that you truly value them, you truly love them. And secondly too, you must also let people, after that you've let them know that they are highly valued, you must also have this mentality that you have a difference, you are a difference maker in their life. How do I mean? Many times we enter into a relationship whereby people are not secured. People feel this guy is going to outdo me. People, they feel what I have to offer is not enough. But in every relationship, the two parties must be contributors. Yeah. So if I don't know what I'm to give, then it's going to be an issue. So I must have a difference maker mentality. That is, I think I'm going to just coin out something from this. You must have this mentality that I can do what you can't do, and you can do what I can't do. Together we can do great things.
Right.
Let me come again.
Right.
I can do what you can't do, and you can do what I can't do. Together we can do great things.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, none of us is better than all of us.
Right.
So the reason why we need ourselves is to add values to ourselves, to contribute to ourselves. So having this mentality that I've come into this relationship to add something that you don't have, and you also add something to me that I don't have, makes a lot of, as a matter of fact, it even strengthens the relationship.
Right.
Most times I feel confident in every cycle of relationship I am because I know I have something to give.
Right.
And also I'm also at the receiving end too. My friends in my circles have something to give me too. So I have that difference maker mentality that I'm going to do something in this relationship. I'm not a wall, I'm a bridge. So we can easily pass things to ourselves.
Wow. Speaking of relationships, what are the types of relationships that we have?
Okay, majorly I would love to classify them into 3. we have general relationships, we have seasonal relationships, then we have covenant relationships. Of course, we know the three of them do not weigh the same. For instance, general relationships are just people you meet on a daily basis. Probably you met someone in the car, in the bus. You could make friendship in such a way too. Why, seasonal relationships are people that come into your life seasonally. For instance, your classmates. For instance, you actually, secondary school, for instance, 6 years. University,
like 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, and
we're in Nigeria like 8 years, 9 years.
Right. But covenant is the height of all, because you guys don't just meet or seasonally, you are there forever. I think I would love to point an example of covenant relationship. It has to do with sotai. That was what happened between David and Jonathan. The Bible says that Jonathan loved David as his own soul. So that's a covenant relationship, and it's very rare, but it's something to really pour our energy, time, and effort into. So it can be likened to what we started with, cycles. A covenant relationship can be likened to inner cycle. And when it has to do with inner cycle, what we need to know about, they are not always much. They're just few in number. As a matter of fact, as we grow in life, we see that our inner cycle also reduces. Just few people.
Yes.
I think I would love to also assert that the love inner circle just simply states that a person's potential can be attached to those that are closest to him. Let me come again. A person's potential is determined to the people that are closest to him. So I come across certain people in life that spoil the giftings on my inside, just like Jonathan was to David. Just like David is also to his men at the cave of Adullam. Yeah. So these are just few people, but they determine the way you explore your potentials, your cycle. A person's potential is determined by those closest to him.
Wow. So okay, I'd like to ask that in determining this, is there? Okay, now I'm going to give an example. Like you said, that they are seasonal friends. Can seasonal friends graduate into covenant friends?
Definitely.
Okay. So at what point do we begin to see them as covenant friends? Is it that we just do that, okay, we're seasonal friends and we're in the same school and now we are having really good talks together, we'll go to class together and all of that. So at what point do you see, or do we realize that, okay, I think this person is a part of my innermost circle of friend, or at what point do we tend to now start choosing this kind of relationships or friends?
Okay, while you were speaking, a picture just came to my mind. I remembered a friend of mine so I've been in Lagos. We're just friends, but I discovered, I think 3 years after that we met, it graduated into a covenant relationship. So I saw how that he was able to meet up with the qualities of a covenant relationship or the qualities of inner cycles. For instance, inner cycles have qualities, and one of them is that it is always character driven. You don't choose. When it comes to general relationship, it can just be based on friendliness. Okay, this person is caring, or have something to give. But when it comes to covenant relationship, it's majorly based on core values. We are to relate with people, we are to make friends with people, but everyone cannot be in our inner cycle, because it's not everyone that has the same core values we believe.
Right.
So our core values determine our inner cycles. So when I started seeing that, it started featuring, and one of them is really character driven. Okay, this guy is humble. His perception about the things I believe in is the same thing as what he believes in. And also, secondly, one of the things I majorly believe for people, the qualities they must exhibit for them to actually be a part of my inner circle is that they must be resourceful. That is, I think I shared that while we started, is that they must be able to contribute and add value. So before that, my friend, I used to see that I was the one giving, and he was not always reciprocating. So I was the one doing more of it. So it got to a stage I was frustrated, so I just drew back. But after 3 years, I started observing now that it was now mutual. So I say, okay, now I can also now pour my energy, time, and efforts now. Since it's now mutual,
yes,
it should be always resourceful and always mutual. And thirdly is loyalty.
Yeah, right.
I think I'm going to say a word before venturing into loyalty, is that before we can actually gain the loyalty of men, is that we must cultivate a skill called listening. And listening is just much more than probably I'm looking at you. I've observed that people look at people and yet they're not listening. Yes. In fact, the hallmark of the skill of listening is the ability to hear what the person is not saying.
Right.
Yes. So, for instance, the person is not speaking, but yeah, you could dictate what the person is going through. The facial expressions, the tones, even on phone, you could just say, what's wrong? So, this guy started exhibiting this, the interest was there. For instance, Bishop T.D. Jakes said something that touched me about covenant relationship. It starts from lap dance. I love that analogy. He said from lap dance is now when you now go into being naked and not ashamed. You don't give people access just like that because they came to you. No. That would be too costly. This is why many people are hurt, because they feel I should make friends with every contact I have with people. No, you give people time. They should earn this access. Right. So I started observing how that, okay, due to time, he was passing through challenges. I was able to provide solutions to, and also in my down moment, this guy was also there too. So Bishop T.D. Jakes said, it's the word intimacy is actually into me, see. That people often may not be able to offer words to you in your times of adversity, but their presence speaks volume.
Right.
So I started seeing how that he began to exhibit this capacity to listen to me, even when I may not be talking, but was always checking up. And those times they were defining moments for me, because if you are David, you must know if you can endure with me in the cave of Adullam, you definitely endure with me in palace. The book of Proverbs says something that is striking. It said, a brother is born for adversity. Mark the people that stood with you in times of adversity. There are people to keep in your inner circle. So I started observing that this guy will always come to listen. In a classic book on relationship called How to Win and Influence People and Friends by Dale Carnegie, it says something that is very striking. It said, you will make more friends within 2 weeks by being a good listener than trying to get people interested in you for 2 years. Let me come again. It said you will make more friends within 2 weeks, just short space of 2 weeks, by being a good listener than trying to make people interested in you for 2 years. Wow. Everybody always wants to project himself.
Right.
But if you can also pay attention to the person you are in conversation with by just listening. And listening is a skill that must be cultivated. And one of the things that happen when we don't listen to our partners or to the people who are in relationship with is that it begins to make them feel like they are not valuable enough, they are not valued by you. Then it can bring disaster to that relationship. So they can go extra mile to other people who give them that attention. There's something I want to cover from David, because David exhibited that cycle kind of relationship. He said in 1 Samuel 30 how that he called they were like his mentees, of course. He called them my brethren. That word is striking. How that he wants them to feel
at home and
exactly the word.
Yes.
The same way your covenant brethren wants to feel like, are you feeling what I'm feeling? So that's the way it should always be. Listening actually breeds loyalty. And loyalty is a major qualities of a genuine inner cycle relationship. Loyalty.
Right. Wow. Okay, so I like it. Okay, for me, I can remember I have a friend, and while we're in school, we're just friends. I want to drive out the question from this short story I'm about to say. Okay. So while we're in school, of course, there was no praying together. It was just the normal school runs to go to class and all of that. But after school, they started bringing. She would make me read some. She would tag me on some posts on Instagrams. She would send some videos to me. She would send some podcasts to me to listen to, introduce me to some women of God, men of God to listen to, and all of that. So it began to. Now I'm going to the point that when you said resourceful,
exactly.
It does not have to be. It doesn't even have to be money itself.
Yeah,
it's not money.
True.
So there are ways that you pour into the lives of your friends or the relationships that you have that now turns into them being in your inner circle. So right now, I started listening to those things. I started having an understanding of, okay, this is what an inner circle should be like. This is what it. And now, you can come in the midnight and say, yeah, let's pray.
Just imagine that.
Yeah.
And it does not used to be like that before.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly. But because I now have an understanding that, okay, I am in your inner circle and you are also in my inner circle. So it now brings that I honor you at the same time, but at the same time, you are still my friend.
Yeah, true.
You are still. So now, how do we deal with people that? Because there were some people also sent those kind of things to us. I didn't get that response back. The response of them being committed into that. So I couldn't invest in such relationships. So how do you cope with people that you know that probably you want them to be in your inner circle? Of course, we have people like that. Like I want this person to actually be maybe someone you love, your friend that you've always loved from school. That I want us to grow together, but they are not responding to that message you're passing. How do you deal with such situations? It doesn't look as if you're probably a proud person.
Okay, thank you so much. Often I've discovered that people feel hurt in relationship because they've not discerned the kind of relationship they're into. It will be very disheartening to take a general relationship for a covenant relationship. Because the honor you give to a general relationship should not be the same thing you give to a covenant relationship. It's not wisdom actually to give more to a general relationship than a covenant relationship.
Wow.
So oftentimes we want to drag people from the general relationship forcefully into so oftentimes that they don't respect us as we are respecting them, we get hurt. So place them where they belong. A general relationship should be a general relationship. I love you for that regard. And a covenant relationship should give you more time, effort, and investment.
That's quite deep, right? We can't drag people out of wow.
True.
Right. Thank you. Okay, so the next question I want to ask is, now when we're talking about circles, do you think it's appropriate? Will you cut it and start again? Okay, so when we're talking about circles, people tend to be like, men don't need brothers, because ladies, we always like, she's my sister, she's my friend,
true,
I love my. But you see, men, I think it's more. I don't know if it's difficult for men to always see a brother as like that G. They just roll on that G level, but it's not common amongst men to have that inner circle. Like why is
you mean
it,
for men
like men having that circle of friends that they just want to be intentional about growing.
Is it
together.
men to men, right?
Men, yes.
Okay, yeah, I think I would love to respond to that.
It's not common. I
Very
see
true.
but why? Why is it not common?
Do you know something? Is that most times men have these issues that they always want to be confidential to themselves and they want to keep things to themselves. Most times we feel men are the muscular, yet they are weak in the minds.
Right.
They are weak in their minds, but most times outwardly they feel they are the muscular kind of people. That is why if you watch out, even in America and even generally now, they are much more diverse. Often the problem always comes from the man. So you often find that in America you have more single mothers. Right. And the detriment is that there is actually a love that a father passes on to the children that cannot be the same that the mother will pass to the children.
Definitely.
This is actually an attack on the sector of family. And oftentimes this happens because the man always wants to keep everything to himself. The man believes more in isolation. That isolation makes him strong, which is a big lie and a deception.
That guy everywhere.
I'm telling you. So that men should also give more attention to covenant relationship. We do more when we expose our weak parts to other people because that's where we find strength.
Wow, that's a whole lot. Okay, so every hard guy out there, every hard man out there, please. It's important that you just have a circle of friends. I mean, someone that you can trust, someone that you can always pour into, someone that can also pour into your life.
Sure.
Don't carry the shoulders. Don't carry the burdens of life and everything. Yeah, alone, right? So I'd like to ask, what are the challenges that we face or that can happen in an inner circle relationship or?
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel at the beginning I actually made mention of something that we possess a difference maker mentality.
Right.
So one of the challenges that actually do kill inner circle relationship is insecurity. That is everybody not embracing their uniqueness and differences. So most times it leads to competition, strife, and jealousy. So I want to imitate my friend. I want to be like my friend, which is not. See, I believe something that about unity does not have to be uniformity. We can have unity in multiplicity. That is, in multi-dimensional aspects of life. It doesn't have to be that we have to bring unity by being uniform. It's as though we just clone ourselves. Then the blend aspect can also bring unity. Unity does not have to be uniformity. Unity can also be in diversities. Yeah. So we come together with our differences. We embrace our differences. For instance, I think this will lead me to talk about personality types. For instance, in your inner cycle, you could have sanguine, you could have choleric, you could have melancholy, you could have phlegmatic. You, of course, for instance, you know that the sanguine are always the fun, loving people. they love relationship, they are easygoing, they are outspoken. So, for instance, a phlegmatic person may not have that personality type. So he must be able to embrace his own uniqueness and also celebrate the uniqueness of the other person. So we're embracing our uniqueness and our differences. With that, we can be able to blend together.
Wow, that's great. You said something about I was listening to you one time. You were saying that there are some friends that you actually have to, or some relationships that you have to tolerate.
Okay, yeah. I think I really love. Thank you so much for bringing that. You know that it's still in this issue of the challenges we have. For instance, based on the fact that a man comprises of both weakness and strength. So often we focus on our strength, then we amplify our weaknesses by complaining, and it's not supposed to be so. For instance, now our shortcomings, what we need to let go of shortcomings is actually forgiveness. So I forgive you for your shortcomings. But when it comes to weaknesses, it's not forgiveness. The more you keep forgiving a person for weaknesses, you get more hurt.
Right.
What you should do is tolerance. So the antidote for hurt in relationship is both forgiveness and tolerance. For shortcomings, you forgive the shortcomings, but for the weaknesses of that person, you tolerate.
Right.
There's nothing you can do to Peter's nature. What Jesus will do is that I've prayed for you. So he had a tolerance, yet he could still commit so much that upon this person, I will commit the church too. But Peter had weakness. It was glaring to all.
Right.
So, we need to have both forgiveness and tolerance. Forgiveness and tolerance.
Very important. Another last question I'd like to ask before we go is, okay, so what do you think about genders in relationships? It's not everybody that's comfortable with. I've heard women, some ladies say that they find it easier for them to pour into a guy. And I've also heard guys say that they find it more easier to pour into a female. And I've also heard people say that they find it more easier to pour into a fellow gender, people that they are of the same gender. So what are your thoughts about having different genders being in the same inner circle, having different genders in your inner circle?
Okay, I think it's actually a common experience, because personally too, I've heard many of my female friends say they're more closer to guys than females. So it's really not bad, because as a matter of fact, you still need certain ladies they have something to offer even into your life. But what I advise often to keep such people safe and healthy in your cycle is keep boundaries. Right. There's something about intimacy I've always observed, is that intimacy have a side effect, which is emotional attachment. So the person involved in that kind of relationship with the opposite sex now should always keep boundaries. But at times, in our soul compartment, we have three faculties majorly. We have the mind, we have the will, we have the emotions. Although the will seems to be the strongest, but I tell you that the emotion is still the most powerful. Because emotion is where your feelings comes in. And even while we try to fake it with willpower, our emotions still creeps into that. Because emotions have life. So what the person has to do is to set boundaries. And as a matter of fact, even keep a kingdom community in such a way that you let the purpose of this relationship know, so we don't cross boundaries.
Right.
Always make our intentions known. Anytime we cross boundaries, we communicate. But I think we're already crossing the boundaries. Right. One of the things that keeps a relationship viable is actually communication.
Yes.
People are dying and yet they keep quiet about it. It shouldn't be. So we should always communicate. I think we're actually passing the boundary of this relationship. This is the purpose of this. We've actually transgressed. So why not just let's adjust? Speaking up and communicating is really going to help a lot.
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have any other thing you want to add to?
Okay, I just feel what I'm going to say lastly is that the reason why we are actually emphasizing on this cycle and covenant relationship is because oftentimes we get to reach to many people via few people. You don't reach to many people with many people.
Yeah.
If we look at it even scripturally, and even like I said earlier on, all organization, every successful organization you see out there thrives on relationships. And if you check out the organization is thriving even globally, for instance Coca-Cola, it's just, if you check out the brain behind the success, it's actually just few people. And that cycle. So it is a very pivotal area in leadership, especially leaders. We need to pay attention to this area cycle. So we can't just trivialize it based on the fact that we just know Jesus raised 12 disciples, just imagine, to reach out to millions. And we are also partakers of this.
Yes.
So you must invest in small people to be able to reach many people. So that's my last word.
Yeah, I think I also like to add that we have to also be intentional about it.
True.
You know, it's not as if it's going to just be easy.
Not at all.
You are going to. There are so many you're going to have so many discomforts, so many trying times.
True.
You know, so many trying to understand yourselves and all. It's not going to be an easy journey, but you just have to be intentional. That okay, this circle I want to keep it, and you must be able to grow together. So if I am reading a book, if you're in my circle, I'll share with you. You share with people in your circle so that they can also benefit from it. If you are listening to a particular message, so that as you are also getting blessed by a particular message, you're also getting blessed, and you can both that come together. So okay, this is what we have learned from this. Not that you're the only one getting the knowledge and they're not getting the knowledge. At the end of the day, when one part is getting the knowledge and the other part is not getting it, you will see that you won't be on the same level again. You begin to So I pray the Lord helps us in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Okay, so to the last part of this show, we'll be playing a game.
Wow.
Yes. So the game is a song challenge. They'll be giving us a word from backup camera. We're going on 3 rounds. The first person to sing songs.
Hope you know women like this, because I'm scared.
I will not say anything though, but I am ready.
Wow.
Guys.
I think I'm not really ready for this.
Oh. you don't have any choice.
No side goes though.
Okay, so that's what they used to say. They will say that they are not ready. They'll come out and win. Okay, so they'll give us the word from backup camera. The first person to sing a song that has that word wins that round. We're going on 3 rounds. Are you ready? All right, let's go. This is back to my mind.
I'm telling you, that's the same song. Probably that's the same like came to my mind too. Beautiful in all situations. You are the joy of the whole world. I think I got that. Beautiful in all situations by Joe.
No, it's not beautiful in all situations.
Yes, beautiful in all situations. You are the joy of the whole world.
It's not beautiful, that is the word.
Yeah, it's the word. Yes.
Is it beautiful, that is the word?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God. I like to think that you are beautiful here.
So that's not it. That's not it. You call that yourself. That's self-composed.
Wow, that's 1-0. Well, beautiful. How you said? Okay.
Well, 1-0.
Wow. See, now that's what I used to say. Okay. I need to win this round now, at least.
Honest.
Hey.
You want to compose songs yourself now?
Honesty. Because you have to change it because honesty. Honesty.
Honestly, are you not?
English, you're not correct. Just give us another word.
Praise.
I'll praise you. I'll praise you. Oh, no. Hey, yes.
You know choir people, definitely. You know choir people.
Okay, so this last one is. Oh, okay.
So.
Let's sit up.
Sit up.
Wordy. Okay, let's say it's a tie. Good. Okay. It's a tie.
Love.
I love you
forever. Because
I love you. I took it by you.
We'll do one more.
Okay, last one then. Cross. On the cross.
On the hill there is a cross. On the cross there is blood for me. That's what I'm doing. For me. Wow. On the hill there is a cross. On the cross there is blood for me. For me. I got
We won together.
No, I want this.
We won together.
Just
We won together. Thank you so much for coming on
Bye-bye.
the show. The
Thank
Lord
you.
continues to renew your strength and grant you more understanding in
Amen.
Jesus' name.
Amen.
Thank you. I hope the next time I'll call you, you answer.
I'm sure you got to come out.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for your stage.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching and stay tuned to the end. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this video. And if you have not subscribed, please what are you waiting for? I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Subscribe.